CLS Farms is a fifth-generation family farm rooted in the Yakima Valley, the heart of American hop country. Their intense climate and steady water supply help produce bold, consistent aromas that brewers rely on. CLS grows high-quality hops along with certified organic apples and soft fruit, all backed by sustainable practices and Global GAP certification. They support both public breeding and their own proprietary varieties like Eldorado, Medusa, and Zappa. Learn more and catch their latest hop talks at cslfarms.com.
Welcome to Drink Beer, Think Beer, the podcast that gets to the bottom of every pint. I'm John Holl. This week, it is a panel conversation recorded last weekend during Notch Brewing's Forever Lager Festival. A smart group of brewing professionals got together and answered the question, how do you stay relevant in a copycat craft brewery world? But first, a quick programming note. All About Beer is once again happy to be participating in the Black Fly Beer Camp at Great Camp Sagamore in the Adirondack Mountains of New York from June 26 to 28. You can join me and a group of fantastic brewers for a weekend of great beer in a beautiful setting. Plus, Nate Weber playing live. Spots are limited. You can reserve your place now by visiting sagamore.org. And as you know, and I've been talking about this on the show for a while, and you hear Andy at the cold open of the shows, but the way we're able to keep bringing original content to the beer industry and to curious beer drinkers is through your support. We have created an affordable underwriting program that is easy on your budget, helps you get visibility, and is an altruistic way to directly fund writers, photographers, and editors. Please visit allaboutbeer.com/support to learn more. When you're at the website, poke around a bit, read some of the recent articles, peruse the archives, which go all the way back to 1979, and you can tune into other podcasts like Brewer to Brewer, the All About Beer podcast, and One Iconic Beer. Follow us on social media at All About Beer to keep up with everything else we have going on. And now, this message.
Today's brewers need hops that perform consistently, from pilot scale to full production. LupoCore was engineered to meet that challenge, delivering enhanced sensory performance, reliable dosing, and scalable brewing efficiency in an easy-to-use T90 format. Backed by Haas innovation and sensory expertise, LupoCore helps breweries create impactful hop character with confidence and control. Reach out to your Haas Sales Representative or visit lupohops.com for more information.
I'm excited to share this panel. It's a lively one, recorded during the Notch Forever Lager Festival. This was the second time the Massachusetts brewery, which focuses on lager, has held this gathering. Brewery founder Chris Loring is an exacting guy, and the brewers he assembled for this afternoon of Bottom Fermented Fun are as committed to the cause as he is. The problem is that as more small brewers get into lagers, they aren't always taking the time and attention that the style needs. So how do those that are doing it right stand out among all the copycats? That's a question I wanted to answer, and I'm joined by a great group that seeks to answer it. In a moment, you'll hear from Nick's superfan, Kaitlyn LeLoup of Eckhart Brewery in Brooklyn, Morgan Snyder of Buttonwoods Brewing in Rhode Island, Madna Cardinali of The Seed in Atlantic City, New Jersey, and Jay Bullen of Brewery Sylvaticus in Massachusetts. Recorded at Notch Brewing's Forever Lager Festival with the occasional musical interlude and vocal backing of White Lipstick, here's our conversation. Kaitlyn hijacked the email thread this morning saying that she just wants to talk about the Knicks.
I think we.
And I'm here for it. I'm totally here for it.
Chris did just tell me that he's rooting for the Knicks because. Okay, sorry.
He's clearly not trying to get that Celtics beer endorsement deal these days. So, one of the things that I was sort of thinking about and staying relevant, right? And we can sort of, I want to hear from all of you, but Kaitlyn, starting with you and New York and what it's going through right now. When you think about major league sports, when you think about like all of the associations that are out there and the big beer partnerships that are part of it, it's hard for smaller breweries to inject themselves into the conversation, but it's necessary, I think, in a lot of ways because you can prove, like, we are real New York. We are real fans. We are here. You know, we are bleeding for this team, whatever the team is right now. as the Knicks have been making this run for the last couple of weeks, like,
I'm really happy you're actually doing this.
But I think staying relevant is staying true to what's happening in the larger world around it. Like, as you're out talking to accounts, as you're trying to get people involved, like, has this become a part of your pitch? Has this become a part of, hey, we're all rooting for this team. We are a New York team. We're not an international conglomerate. How can your brewery be a part of this larger conversation that's happening in the city by nature of being in the city?
Well, I think authenticity is important. I wouldn't actually say that I bring this into the conversation, but a big thing is we are a lager brewery from New York. I don't really think that there's that, like, no one's really taken that space yet. And I think just really owning that and being confident in it and being confident in what you do. But no, I don't tell people I'm from New York.
Okay.
I mean, I do.
Okay.
But just in general.
Okay.
Because,
So Nixon 4?
I'm really nervous.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I think just being authentic and being confident in what you do. And I think New Yorkers kind of have just have that naturally.
Amanda, it's sort of similar to in certain ways, being in Atlantic City, where, again, the conversation is dominated by the casinos, dominated by big international conglomerates. And I've said, and I'll say it again, you guys are the best brewery in Jersey.
Thank you.
And, I mean, for now, Spencer's making a run with alternate ending these days.
Yeah.
But, how are you staying relevant when, again, people are coming in for the casinos? They're coming in for, the glitz and the grit versus, where you guys are, which is
A little off the
far
beaten
from the
path.
ocean. Yeah.
I feel like people are still kind of just, we're lucky that people still kind of Google brewery near me.
Okay.
And then we pop up and here we are. But yeah, same thing. I mean, we opened with a plan of just staying true to ourselves and what we want to make and making beer for us. And I feel like we've been pretty lucky to be able to continue to do that. We make a wide array of styles, which also really helps, but I've never really felt myself feel like I'm losing myself, which is really special, I think. Especially with we make a good amount of lager and a lot of Saison comparatively, not a ton. I would make more if I could. But I don't know. I feel like we've just kind of when we opened, we were this is who we are. This is what we want to do. And we've been able to kind of stick to that. And I feel very blessed that we can do that. For us, our lager program is all New Jersey grown and malted grain. So I also think that makes us a little bit different because we don't really, think we make beer inspired by other things, but it's always still at the end of the day just ours. And I think that helps keep us excited too.
Yeah. Morgan, I want to jump down to you for the authenticity. I'm not skipping you, Jay. I'm leading up to your brewery. But that authenticity, you had your original location and then moved to the newer location, 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years to the day, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Being in that original location for Buttonwoods and what it was and how authentic it felt and how welcoming it felt and not cookie cutter in so many ways, and that you were able to translate that into the new place with that same vibe. The authenticity and not being a copycat or not trying to do what everybody else is doing, how has that played towards the success of the brewery over its lifespan?
Well, I think that actually just kind of points to something that I was thinking about when I first got introduced to being on the panel. It's consistency. It's doing the same thing over and over again. The reason that we were able to translate the Cranston location to the Providence location is that we knew what everything looked like. A lot of what we do as makers is its feel. When we design things, it's all right, that looks almost right, but it's not quite where it's supposed to be. So scratch that, start over. So, all of our stuff is picked up on the side of the road or at a Savers, which, if you're familiar, it's a Rhode Island kind of Goodwill.
It's okay.
And so, you walk into a Savers, that's it. You kind of consistently pick out the same thing over and over again and be like, I know what I'm looking at, and I know what I shouldn't have here. And I think that's how authenticity comes through, is that you're consistent with what you're doing every time. You know, you look at something and it's like, yep, that's it. Or if it's not perfect, then scrap it.
So, Jay, to that point, your brewery has evolved over time, and you found what works in a moment might not work the next time, but staying true to your overall mission of beer, but also not keeping anything too precious where it's, okay, we're going to change things because things need to be changed. Like, walk us through the lifespan of the brewery and those changes and how, like, where you started and where you are now.
So I think the evolution of the brewery, I mean, we've always been true to lager. We started out that way, and that was our mission before we opened, to kind of focus on that. And there's multitude of different reasons why that was the case. Of course, we were fans of lager beers, and that's what we wanted to emulate and what we wanted to project. But some of that had to do with our brewhouse size and how many fermenters we had and how much the different yeast strains we could bring in. So we were so small when we started out, and we really haven't grown much, but we didn't have room for a American ale strain. So it just became, because we were focused on lagers and also our Saison strain. So it was, that was where the main focus was. But we've learned through, and we're gonna be celebrating 9 years in September, that things change and you have to be able to roll with that. And because of our model, how we don't distribute a drop of beer, so everything is in the tap room, and we can focus on that experience and kind of curating that experience for the customer and being able to fine tune things and change when change is needed. I think it's just being like boots on the ground and I'm still in the brewery every single day, so seeing those things, and it's just being able to make the best beer that we can possibly make and focusing on that and kind of using that as a jump off point to hit all the other things that the other things that we offer, and just trying to stay, like you guys said, authentic and true to yourself. Right?
I mean, Amanda, you were nodding along with everything that Jay was just saying.
Yes. What? Sorry. Yeah, I mean, same thing, like just being present, and I feel like that really resonated, and like really being able to fine tune and I'm at the brewery also every single day. Like even just not being there yesterday, I was like, what is happening? But yeah, that's also amazing that you don't have to distro and you can just like fine tune your tasting room. That's the life.
It has its challenges too, but and we don't really have any plans for expansion, and we just kind of, like I always say, it's like Jiro Dreams of Sushi, if you've ever seen that documentary, where it's just like,
oh, it's very good. Yeah.
You just focus on your thing and do your thing and not worry about what the outside world kind of has to say about it.
Yeah, I feel like I think about that too. Like sometimes I feel like I'm living in like this weird little bubble, which is kind of terrifying, but also like kind of special at the same time.
Well, like, how so? Because for a really long time, it was the message, at least nationally, was you got to grow, you got to take on the big guys, and I think this group of breweries that a lot of you are in, like 10 years older or less, thereabouts, like kind of put that to the side. And I know COVID changed a lot of priorities and a lot of things for a lot of folks, but I'm seeing more and more that the breweries that are doing it with intention, like all of you are doing, like Notch does, like so many of the other breweries that are here right now, like are not following what was told to them was told to breweries 20 years ago was the norm, and everybody seems worried but also a little bit more at peace. Is that fair?
Yeah, for sure. I think when we opened, I always tried to state over and over that I'm not trying to take over the world. Like I'm just trying to be this little brewery that focuses on things that we love and we're passionate about. And we're not trying to be on every shelf in every place. That was never really the goal. Obviously now we're kind of at the point where, we have to figure out how to make money, so that does require some growth. But you kind of have to figure out like what's comfortable for you and do it at your pace that just works for your brand and what you're trying to accomplish.
Morgan. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I want to jump on what Amanda said. I'd kind of say something similar. Is like I'm just here to take over Rhode Island, and Rhode Island's a small state in the union, so like, it's not really taking over much.
Yeah.
So the only goal is to be big enough that we have a presence in most of the state. We don't want to be on every shelf either, but have a presence and people know who we are and build that culture into the state itself.
There is, sorry, Kaitlyn, go ahead.
No, I think I just come from like a little bit of a different perspective.
Okay, please.
No, like being sales and marketing, you guys all come from the breweries. And if you know my background, you know the breweries I've worked for.
Quite a few. Like all respected and and I think because of you actually, like you were the face of a lot of these breweries, at least down in the New York City area, and like
so embarrassing.
Yeah.
I know.
I mean that in a nice way. That's not like
I really don't remember what I was going to say.
Okay. Great, thanks. Go Knicks. Yeah, that's just how you have to end every sentence. Is go Knicks.
I have something to say. Maybe it'll come back. I'm embarrassed.
Doing great.
Well, so to that point though, when you're out doing sales, doing marketing, how much does that local, we're in Brooklyn, we're here, we're making lager, especially like in New York City, where I have said forever, and I will say forever, it is a lousy beer town. And there are some great breweries in Brooklyn and Queens. I think there's only one operating set of stainless on the island of Manhattan.
Not anymore.
No, not the old Polliner. I thought Lucky.
Maybe.
Exactly. Okay, so maybe there's a brewery on the island of Manhattan, right? I don't think the Bronx has anything anymore.
No, closed.
Nobody goes to Staten Island, so it doesn't matter.
I've never been. I'm sorry, I know you're from there.
There's two places geographically that me from Jersey I'm allowed to make fun of, and Staten Island is one of them, and Rhode Island is the other. But I like Morgan.
I've been in a car on Staten Island, but I never got out.
Yeah, I mean that's the only way to do it. Yeah. But New York is a lousy beer town, and when you're out selling really good lager and trying to sell really good beer that you all are making to accounts that are used to what Julia Herz at the BA called years ago the illusion of choice, where you walk in and it's like, well, we can get you Stella, Mango Cart, Bud Light, and Busch Gardens, and like that's like how much does that authenticity of we are from here, this is going to cost a bit more, but like you're also helping us out and we're helping you out and all, like how much of those conversations are you having where it's we're not like these other beers that you see everywhere else, like that authenticity?
So I'm fairly new to the brewery. I started about 6 weeks ago, but I've been following them for a long time. I did leave beer for a minute, and then I came back because I felt strongly about what they were doing. The beers are really good.
And we are the richer to have you back, but yes.
Oh, thanks. Stop. But I really felt strongly about what they were doing. I can tell that there's a lot of passion behind it. They spent the last 2 years really focusing internally, building everything out, making sure everything worked really well, making sure the beers were amazing. Adam, who I don't know if he's in here, but he makes really good beer. And then now we just need to tell people, so that's kind of where I come in. Right now, I'm just kind of working with everybody to really find exactly what our voice is and how we tell people who we are and what we're doing in the right way, where it doesn't come off there's a lot of personalities and people who feel very strongly about very specific things about making lager. A lot of times that doesn't, no one really cares. So we're trying to figure out the right way to do it. But I think that, I'm just trying to express to people that this matters. What they're doing it very well. And they've been focusing internally, and now we got to tell everybody. Does that answer your question? Kind of rambling?
Kind of.
Okay.
Jay, I mean, to that point, when you're not doing distro, when you're not in other bars now, you have folks who are coming in, and those people who are walking through your doors are the ones that are responsible for keeping you going. You're doing the job, you're getting them to come in, but they are now your lifeblood. Has your messaging changed to them of I think every brewer, every owner values the people who come through their bar, buys the pints, helps pay the bills, helps keep the lights on, keep a passion going. But when you're now not in distro, and everybody who walks through your doors when you're open is, another pump of the heart, like, have things changed? Like, has your messaging, has your perspective changed?
I don't think so. I think in that aspect, we're the same as we always were. It's simple. It's beer. I think for us, starting out as a lager brewery, and for myself not being from New England and not having a background in a brewery in the area, even though I had previous experience when I was in Alaska, California, I think not having people not knowing who I was, but then being able to give them kind of a right off the bat that the beers that we were making were exactly what we said they were. And that's, I feel like I can still say that to this day, that's who we are and what we do. We're always trying to make the beers better. It's, with especially lager beer, it's fine tuning, little tweaks here and there, but process-wise and quality-wise, like I always tell my crew that like the beer can always be better. And that's what we constantly strive for. And I think it's what drives us to just keep doing what we're doing, even though on the surface to some people it might seem like it's ho-hum and we're doing the same thing. It's really not. When you get into the minutia of it and the day-to-day, I mean, it's really I still enjoy it. I mean, I don't know. But we have changed as far as we changed our licensing 3 years ago.
Yeah, talk about that.
So we did change from a farmer brewer license. In Massachusetts, that means you can just serve the beer that you produce, to a pub brewing license, which gave us the ability to get a full liquor license. So we've added wine and cider and slowly worked in. Now we've worked in a full cocktail menu, all curated stuff, like it's not a full bar, it's not an open bar. It's more of like, hey, these things that we offer these things to drive more traffic to the tap room and appeal to more people. But I feel like the cocktails that we make and kind of emulate what we do on the beer side. So classic cocktails, like a classic Mai Tai, daiquiri, margarita, nothing fancy, nothing crazy, not getting cute with anything, just doing those things as well as we hope, and as well as we do the beer. And I think that translates to a lot of people, that it's just, there's a consistency where you're going to come to us and you're going to have a quality experience.
How important is branding as well, right? If your brewery is pouring at this event, you have been vetted, you're making great beer, you are in rarefied air, which it's important these days. And then you can talk to folks about, hey, this tastes really good, or this is made by expert brewers, and hey, we care about what we're doing. It's we had just as an aside, we had an event during the Craft Brewers Conference this year with Bierstadt, and they brought their Helles to a dive bar in Philly. It wasn't a dive bar because they were serving cauliflower bites on a slate plate. That's not a dive bar. But the idea was it was supposed to be a dive bar. It was Glory beer bar, yeah. But they were serving their Helles in a 12-ounce can that was specially branded for CBC. And I think a lot of people who kind of wandered in didn't realize that it was Bierstadt. And the comment that I kept getting back over and over again was like, wow, this is really good beer. And it's like, yes, it is really good beer. And then they started looking at the can and started considering it all over again, because it was just $3 lager. That's kind of cool. How important, though, is branding, right? Because, if you have the liquid and it's solid, bad wordplay, and it's reliable and it tastes good, we're in an Instagram, TikTok world where you also want to have really good branding that captures people's attention. And Amanda, I think your beers, some of your beers do that really well. Your light lager, I think, is one that I see on Instagram a lot. Your pale ale is one I see on Instagram a lot. But Morgan, I want to start with you though, of the branding of, if we can draw people in visually through the beer first, or through the branding first, and then the beer is really good, we can hook them for a longer time. Like, how much focus are you putting on that?
So it's funny. You mentioned, like, if I was presenting myself as a brand here, it'd be so much different than how I present myself out to the casual public.
Okay.
All of our product that hits the shelf is like clean aesthetically. Like, all of our lagers are white background, simplistic old style technology. We have an American Light Lager that has an 8-track player on it. We have a floppy disks on our Baltic Porter. Anything that's lagered is white with a black version of like a cassette or a tape player or a old 1930s projector, things like that. But if I was...
Why?
What's old is new again.
Okay.
That's kind of where that idea stemmed from originally. Is like, well, you know, we're doing lagers. It's always been around. It's one of those things that when you hear beer, you instantly think beer. And we were doing that. The first beer we did was the Pilsner in a can. It was just a tape cassette, white on white. And we were just like, you know, it's kind of an internal joke. It's like, you know, Pilsners are coming back. When I first put it on tap, it's like, I'm going to put a Pilsner on tap. If no one drinks it, at least I will. So that's kind of where that ethos came from. Is like, let's bring it back. If people like it, great. If they don't, we still have it. And that's how we built it public facing to the casuals who walk in and like, I don't know what I'm looking at. But if I was here, I'd have the dirtiest, grungiest, sharpied piece of cardboard that I could find, so that people just kind of stop and say, why is this trash person here? Because everyone else is clean and polished, so I'm going to stand out. Because these are people that are going to, you know, in this audience, I'm trying to stand out against them, because it's like, you don't know who I'm at. I'm in the smallest state in the country. Like, you know, we're a flyover state. You don't even know if we're a state or a part of New York. Common misconception.
Paper airplanes.
Yeah, exactly.
Flyover state, yeah.
So, you know, when I'm doing something like this, I'm going to be a little bit more like loud and get people to look at me, kind of peacock, if you will.
Yeah.
To use an old term, I guess.
That's a pretty good soundproof door.
Yeah.
Like, that is, yeah.
So, you know, we outwardly present ourselves as put together, but when we show up at something, I kind of let my true self show. It's like, I'm a little bit of a mess, but I'm having fun.
Kaitlyn, so yeah, on the branding part, right? Because again, New York, visual city, people like posing with shit, and you know,
kids
they like
to
today
like wait in line for things that
Yeah.
I really think they don't.
I saw this
know
thing in the Times today that people are waiting in line for a piece of cake in a coffee cup with sprinkles on top.
I really think sometimes they don't know what they're waiting for.
Right.
It's like, no, I really
There's
do.
just a line, and you're just going to queue up. Yeah.
It's wild.
But how important is branding, though, in an image conscious city like New York?
I think branding in general is super important. But I also think that like it has to be real. Like, it has to be authentic, and it has to be confident. I mean, I think that, you know, people say you have to be cool, but being cool is confident. Like, so confident in what you're doing, confident in your branding, and consistent, and real.
Yeah.
And that people want to be part of something.
Yeah.
That's it. So, I don't know. I feel like I'm not good at answering your questions.
You're doing great. Nixon 4. When we get to the highlight reel at the end of this episode of Sports Center, you're going to be really great. Just
I'm really excited.
Just boom goes the dynamite is all I just need you to just say over and over and over again. It's going to be great.
And then Illmatic in the background.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But Amanda, your branding, again, best brewery in New Jersey, is all over the fucking place.
That's true.
And like, there's no. Right. Okay. So she's.
You just love me. Yeah, it's funny. We were actually talking about this on the way up here, because when we first opened, we weren't planning on canning or distributing, and we just kind of wanted to do labels that felt like they fit the brand. So whether that meant a photograph or a drawing or something complete, like anything, that's what we did. And then we realized, like, oh, actually this is like a little chaotic, because like our lagers are over here and our IPAs are over here, but then we kind of honed in slightly. So now it's kind of like we have several artists that we use consistently, and I think that helps. And we also, like, if it feels right and that's what we want to do, that's what we do. And for good or for bad, I know probably on a shelf it doesn't always look super cohesive, but it just makes sense for us, and we really just want the beer in the package to all be us, whether that might not fit the brand before or the brand we're releasing next to it. That's okay, because it fits that. And I think, I don't know, sometimes I kind of panic about it, but I do panic about a lot of things. Wow, that is so loud. But I think it's working for us right now, and our distro's still pretty small. And I think if people know us, they kind of have an idea of what our branding is and what to look for. I hope. But
Well, so the people who drink your saisons versus your lagers versus your IPAs or pale ales, like, they all look different.
Yes.
Like, is there any market?
Really? Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Even Amanda's like, all right, like.
We literally talked about it on our ride up. No, me and Spencer, because I don't know how. I think you were napping.
But are you able to, like, if you have folks who know you for saison, know you for a lot, like do people know you for all of the categories, or do they know you for one and then they have a hard time or an easy time jumping from one to the next, or like, are your folks in silos?
That's a really good question. I'm not
Thank
sure.
you.
I feel like a lot of times I've gotten told that people have come to us for one style and then kind of like trusted the process. They're like, okay, we know that you can do this and we like it, so okay, maybe we will try saison. Like I think especially when we first opened, when we were really pushing saison, people were coming in for the IPA or the lager and then being like, okay, I don't think I actually like saison, but I can tell you're so passionate about it, and we trust now that like your other liquid we like it, so we'll try it. And people have like come out specifically to be like, I never drank saison, I don't like saison, I like your saison, and now I'm willing to try others. And I think that's very special.
Yeah, I mean, Jay, I saw you nodding along with that.
I think gaining the trust of your customer is a huge, it can be fragile, but when you do that and you do it early on, I think it, like Amanda said, it kind of guarantees to them, even if it's not their cup of tea or style that they drink, they'll still maybe have a taste of it, or try it, or have one and then be like, yeah, it was good, because they understand that you're putting out a quality product and you're doing that across the board, and it's not easy to do. So I think that gaining that trust is paramount. I mean, for us, I know like early on we were able to do that, and it allowed us to then say, hey, here's smoke beer, here's barrel fermented saison, here's things that you may not, it's not kitchen sink, it's still thoughtful and there's a process to it, but it's still going to be of the same quality as our Pilsner. And even if you don't like it, there's a good chance you're still going to want to try it.
Yeah. Well,
I think it all comes back to being like confident and authentic in what you're doing. Like if you feel confident and strongly about what you're doing, people are going to buy into it. And again, people want to be part of something. So.
yeah.
Yeah,
Morgan, yeah.
To that same point, is like I learned very on that if you're not passionate about something, it's not going to translate in the final liquid. So our board represents things that I care about, and the things that I don't care about don't make the board. So I think that I think when we were first building out, I was worried about being a mile wide and an inch deep.
Yeah.
But instead, we're focusing on trying to figure out how to be a mile deep, and however wide the river end up being, that's great.
So one of the things that I've been thinking about, and I've been really frustrated with when it comes to beer in the last couple of years, is all of the haze factories that opened up, all of the Citra Mosaic bullshit nonsense that came up, and I hate Mosaic, but it's a terrible hop. That and Sabro. But there is
I'm with you on Sabro.
a lot of early Mosaic was really beautiful, where you could get those blueberry lots, and it had this vibrant blueberry thing. But Pliny the Elder, Russian River, gets those lots almost exclusively, and everybody else gets the lots that to me smell like cat box.
I got one. It's pretty cool. I love that lot.
Yeah, and it's a gorgeous lot, but everything else, and so like I just can't get past it, and people are like, oh, mango tropical. I'm like, oh, you're cat pissed over there. But when you had all of these breweries that opened up in 16, 17, 18 that were trying to chase Treehouse and Trillium and, The Alchemist and all of this, and you had a whole group of drinkers that started just on hazy IPA. And so they're used to no bitterness, they're used to murk, they're used to like whatever. I was for a long time wondering, like, how do you broaden that customer base into other styles, right? Like I started on ESB and then, discovered stouts and porters and then went into pale ales and IPAs. And like I had this fun journey 30 years ago when I started, and a lot of those drinkers in 16, 17, 18 and then throughout COVID like didn't have that opportunity, because like when you start on hazy pale, it's hard to say here's my ESB, here's my mild, here's my Helles, here's my like whatever. The breweries that you all have, I think for this modern age, allow people to start in a place that's not going to be a dead end road immediately. And I'm wondering, and this jump ball, but what you all are doing for new to beer people or beer curious people to get them to appreciate more styles and then like come back to lager. Like we can all start on shitty lager and then come back to really good lager. There's an opportunity for that, but like, how are you all doing that if you all are doing that, and what's working?
Well, I worked for all those breweries.
Yeah.
I did.
Nixon 4. Boom goes the dynamite. Yeah.
No, I think that's like a specific drinker, but I also think, I think trends are important. I think that the beer industry and craft beer industry has gotten an audience because of those trends. But at the end of the day, like classics never die. I mean, there's going to be fads. There's going to be. I don't know if there'll ever be a fad like hazy IPA, and I also don't think that's going away.
Oh, I'm not saying it's going away. I'm not saying it should go away.
I think
Mosaic and Sabro should.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And Sabro. I'm with you on Sabro.
Yeah.
I just think like lagers, it's good beer, and I think like why people are coming around to it is because of things like this, like because of breweries like Notch, because of breweries like
like louder for them.
Oh, louder.
Yeah.
I'm a low talker. I know this. Mm-hmm. No, I think all of us doing this and really feeling strongly about it, I don't want to say making lager cool, but giving the audience of people who have loved beer and might have become like craft beer fans because of those other breweries, but making them lager fans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I'm not good at answering your questions.
Well,
let's go next.
Yeah.
Well, I find it funny is like you basically described my brewery to a T when we first opened up in 2017, making a bunch of hazy IPAs, not necessarily chasing Trillium and Treehouse, but I've been in the industry since at that point for almost 10 years, and I was just kind of like, well, IPA is king and we have to focus on that, but like, what if we did something else? And we originally kind of tried to focus on Saison. The pandemic seemed to like really just crush any enthusiasm for any of that product we were making. But we put a lot of effort into lager because things were slowing down. It's like, well, we make a Pilsner that's pretty solid. What if we keep making more of that and diversify? And we found that an audience doing that. But we still focus on IPA. But what we've done over the past 8 years is we went from having, 50 to 60% of our draft list being hop forward stuff to we have 16 taps and 4 of them are IPA, double IPA, or pale ale. So we're limiting it so that when someone comes up was like, I want to try all your IPAs, like, cool. So we have 2.
Right.
What are you going to have next?
Right. And like, do you have a script or some way where you can kind of like steer people like, all right, like you've had our 2 IPAs, have you had the mild? Like is there because I think that's the dead end that I'm talking about, where for a long time you had, I shouldn't disparage in Boston, but like the beer advocate crowd that was like, give me your haziest, hoppiest bullshit, and then they weren't interested in anything else unless it was, barrel aged stupidity. Like it's Todd already hates me, so this is fine. Jason loves me and should be loved, but how do you get people to try those things and not just be like, all right, I've ticked these, like I'm gonna fuck off to the next place now?
Well, that's kind of where the team comes in. Like you're the people behind the bar, your front line. They're the people that ultimately give, ultimately the beer isn't beer until it's in someone's hand to consume. So the team has to know, like, all right, someone's going to come up and ask for a hazy IPA, and you're going to only have two options. Pick your favorite. What is the next thing you want someone to go into? We have a rye barrel-aged rye saison that one of our employees is really big fan of, so he always redirects them to that. It's like, have you tried our Pilsner? That's one of our flagships. We have a really great American lager that people enjoy if you're looking for something a little lighter. So they have like kind of a script that they build on their own by having those conversations. Like, what do you like to drink and why do you like to drink it? Tell that to the customer.
Jay?
Well, we still make a hoppy beer.
Yeah.
So it's on the menu and it's good. So there's that option. But I think Morgan was saying, like, you can make the best beer in the world, but if there's nobody competent enough to sell it and to be that interaction, I think it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So you have to have staff that's passionate about what you do, that kind of looks at things the same way that you do, that's willing to be humble and not be the ones that be like, hey, this is me, blah, blah, blah. Like, the beer and everything comes first, and that's what everybody, we're all playing on the same team.
Yeah.
We all have the same common goal. So I'm not a front of house, forward-facing person. Nobody wants me behind the bar. So I do my best to make sure everybody has what they need to succeed, and then I let them do it. And we're fortunate. We have a great staff. We really do, and that's harder than anything else. And Michelle and Mackenzie, Mackenzie's our lead behind the bar, and Michelle does all of the hiring and deals with the people side of it, because that's her special ability, to be able to like manage people and have empathy and be able to do the things that I'm not so great at. So I think just having the right team and being able to show, again, like, just going back to it, like, everything, the quality is the same across the board, and it shows in everything, whether it's the staff, the interaction, the music, the food, all of those things, it all matters. It does. And I think some places they fall flat because they don't see it the same way. There's one focus or another focus, and then you miss the details. And when you miss the details, subconsciously, that customer, they might not notice it, but they do notice it. They notice when things are off. They might not say anything. They might not leave a bad review about it, but maybe it influences their decision the next time, if they're going to return, if they're going to come back, if they're going to go somewhere else. And we always strive for having everything being a specific way, and it's simple, but it's curated and it's made for maximum, like, you don't want the customer to really have to think too much about it.
Amanda, did you want to jump in on this?
Yeah, I totally agree with all of that. And just to circle back to, like, getting your customers to try other things, I think for us, when we first opened, there would be times where we wouldn't have an IPA on tap, and I would always, like, have my pre-shift with my staff and be like, all right, guys, like, I'm really sorry. Like, this might be a problem for you, and I apologize in advance, but, just try your best to, like, direct the customer to drinking something else. But then it got to the point where, like, I'd be like, all right, we don't have an IPA, and they'd be like, oh my God, I live for this. Like, they were, like, so excited. They're like, this is the time where we shine, and we can be like, all right, we really want you to try this beer. And I think that helped us out a lot. Like, now we pretty regularly do, but now we're almost 6 years in. So I think in the beginning, when we didn't have a lot of IPA, that kind of, like, forced their hand a little, and they were like, well, we're here already, we might as well drink something, and that kind of worked in our favor. But yeah, it's definitely your staff. I think if you ooze the passion, that they're, like, whoever you're pouring a beer for is going to feel that, and they're going to just want whatever you're super excited about. And that's kind of what we try to touch on a lot, because I think our team back of house does, and that's, I don't know, I feel like we try to push that in the front of house, and I think it works, and the customers feel it.
All right. Final two questions. The penultimate question comes from Mr. Chris Loring himself. Each of you just like quick, short, lightning round answer to this. Chris Loring asks, now that lager is cool, how long until it's not? Morgan.
Can I go first?
Wow. That's I mean, I hope it's never not been cool. It's just, how cool is it gonna be?
All right, Jay.
I'm going down with the ship. I mean,
Amanda.
Forever. It's going to be cool forever.
Forever lager.
It's always been cool.
Yeah. Boo. That's a bad question, Chris. All right. So last question then. A lager that you don't make or are affiliated with that you feel everybody should drink to have a wonderful experience.
Simply Light.
Okay. From the seed, Amanda.
Thank you. Oh my God, that's so much pressure. Thank you. Oh my God.
Come on, this is lightning round. This is like
You guys go first. I got you.
like first thing. All right, fine. Yeah, Jay. I know. I feel like this is the notes that I get home from my daughter's third grade teacher, where it's like we had to separate her and Bobby. They were talking too much during class. It was a distraction. Yeah. Exactly this. Jay, a lager that you're not affiliated with that or make that everybody should have to experience lager nirvana.
Radaburger Pills.
Morgan.
Hallertau Pills from Human Robot.
Oh, I was going to say check 10. No, I just
You
feel
can
like a
still say
fangirl.
check 10.
Check 10.
All right.
I'm a fangirl.
Check 10.
Yeah, it's
Check
incredible.
10's fine.
All right.
Great. No, I mean, like,
I was going to say...
I grew up where fine is actually a compliment. I apologize.
I was going to say Pitchline Pills, but then I felt weird with Chris right there.
I'm noticing a lot of empty glasses in the audience. You need to go buy more tickets, drink more lager. Thank you to Chris and the team here at Notch for
Nix in 4.
hosting us. The Knicks in 4. It's Morgan, and it's Jay, and it's Amanda. That's Melissa Stark. This has been Sports Center. Thanks for listening. Knicks in 4.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Next
you.
week, it is another panel from Notch, this one moderated by Andy Crouch, and it's one you won't want to miss. As always, you can email me at johnholl@allaboutbeer.com. That's JOHNHOLL at allaboutbeer.com. Quick reminder, you can raise a glass to a one-of-a-kind Adirondack getaway. Blackfly Beer Camp is happening June 26th to 28th. And it brings together professional brewers, passionate home brewers, craft beer enthusiasts, and more for a weekend filled with flavor, fun, and fireside camaraderie. All set against the backdrop of Great Camp Sagamore's legendary wilderness retreat. Spend 3 unforgettable days immersing yourself in the art, science, and joy of brewing. Enjoy thoughtfully paired meals, hands-on learning, spirited entertainment, and plenty of opportunities to taste and talk beer with some of the region's finest makers. Whether you're a seasoned brewer or simply love a good pint, this weekend offers something for every palate. You can learn more, and spots are limited. And you can reserve yours. I lost my place. Anyway, spots are limited. You can celebrate craft beer Adirondack style and reserve your experience now at sagamore.org. Make sure you join the This Week in Rauch Beer group on Facebook or follow at TW Rauch Beer on Instagram. Upload your photos, join the conversation. And you can support us by visiting allaboutbeer.com/support. When you're at the website, check out new content as well as the archives, and you can find all of the links to follow All About Beer on social media. Before we run, here's a note from this episode's sponsor. We thank them, and we hope you'll give them your business.
This episode is sponsored by John I. Haas on their new LupoCore Enhanced T90 hop pellets, engineered for peak sensory performance and ultimate peace of mind. Designed for brewers of all sizes, LupoCore delivers consistent sensory outcomes, reliable brewhouse performance, and scalable application across production volumes. Using Sensory Plus selected hops and Haas's advanced pellet processing technology, LupoCore elevates hop expression while reducing brew process loss, all without requiring brewers to change their process. Contact your Haas Sales Representative or visit lupohops.com to learn more.
If you like smart audio content, a reminder that All About Beer has a separate podcast channel. Search and subscribe on your podcast platform of choice. Listen to shows like Brewer to Brew, which is now a weekly show, and the All About Beer podcast with Don Tess and M. Souter. Steal This Beer has new episodes every Monday. The BYO Nano podcast comes out on the 15th of every month. And as for this show, Mitch Weber does the music. Jeff Quinn designed our logo. I'm John Hall. New episodes release every Wednesday, and that's when I'll be back again to drink beer and to think beer.